For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Jada Pinkett Smith is currently gearing up for the release of her memoir, Worthy, and in it, she's revealing everything from her early life and career, as well as going into detail about her marriage with Will Smith and the night Will slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. In a new interview with co-host of the Today Show, Hoda Kotb, Jada said that she and Will has been separated for 7 years. Hoda asked Jada why the two never told the public that they had been living separate lives since 2016, and she said,
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, you know? And we hadn't figured that out.
Why did the relationship fracture?
Oh, well, why it fractured, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be. I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
Aside from this huge reveal, People magazine went even deeper into Jada's storyline with Chris Rock. She was asked if she had any desire to talk to the comedian. Do I have any desire to talk to Chris? Here's my desire. I just hope that all of the misunderstanding around this can be cleared up and that there can be peace. I talk about this in the book. I think there might have been some misunderstanding between Chris and I as far as the 2016 Oscars. I think he might have taken offense, which I meant no harm in offending. That wasn't my intention. But I do think that there's a big misunderstanding there. In addition, Jada admitted that she wasn't aware of the level of pressure Chris might have been under during that time. After the 2016 ceremony, Jada revealed that Chris called her. He apologized and I apologized to him as well. So I actually thought that we were good, that the hatchet was buried between us. And we hadn't talked since then, until 2022 came. Reflecting on the night of the Oscars, Jada revealed that she too thought the Oscar slap was a skit. From where I was sitting, I couldn't tell. It didn't look like Will hit Chris because, number one, I'd seen Will in the boxing ring with pro fighters. Will's a heavy hitter. So when Chris moved, it looked like he ducked or he missed the shot. And when he continued to stand, and then when he continued to walk down to the end of the stage, I was like, there's no way. There's no way that Will hit him. It wasn't until Will started to walk back to his chair that I even realized it wasn't a skit. I was in as much of a fog as anybody else in that room that night. In the interview, Jada also explained what happened between her and Chris Rock immediately after the slap. According to People, during a commercial break of the live Oscars broadcast, Chris walked over to Jada to speak to her. Chris came down to the end of the stage and tried to apologize to me. He said, I didn't mean you any harm. I said, I can't talk about this now, Chris. This is some old-ish. I thought this was about the Oscars 2016. And there's stuff that they had before I even came into the picture in the late 80s. I've got to leave that to Will and Chris to talk about. But they got their stuff for sure. When asked if she was offended by Chris's joke, she said, I mean, that's what comedians do. I would just have to say that I am not really here to make any judgment on how people decide to express themselves and express their art. I'll say that several times I've had my feelings hurt for sure. I've had my feelings hurt a lot by Chris. But at the end of the day, too, being in the spotlight, it comes with the territory. Finally, in one telling piece of information that was revealed in the interview, Jada disclosed that Chris once asked her on a date. I think every summer all the reports would come out that me and Will were getting a divorce. In this particular summer, Chris, he thought that we were getting a divorce. So he called me and basically he was like, I love to take you out. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, aren't you and Will getting a divorce? I was like, no, Chris, those are just rumors. He was appalled and he profusely apologized, and that was that. Joining me, we have our very own analyst, which I'm very excited to have back on, Yamanika Saunders, joining us to talk about this topic. I have to start off by asking Yamanika, how have you been?
I've been great. It's been a wonderful summer. I got to see you guys a couple weeks ago. So yeah, everything's been good. And I'm glad to be in front of the audience again.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to have you. So let's dive into today's topic. You know, we're hearing from Jada. Of course, she has this book coming out, and a lot of interviews are starting to come out now. What's your reaction to her saying, you know, hey, Chris Rock tried to, you know, ask me out on a date before the Oscar slap?
I mean, that's interesting, information that I mean, obviously, she's a beautiful woman. And if people think that she's available, there's no doubt in my mind that, I'm sure a play was made towards her. So.
Do you think, because even I've been seeing the comments, of course, and a lot of people are commenting on this having their a playground with it, essentially. Do you think that had anything to do with the slap, or why we saw Will? Because at first, people just thought, oh, it was just solely because Jada got offended by what Chris was saying. But now, do you think with this new information coming out that that also may have played a factor into why Will slapped Chris?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. If she told him, I don't know if she divulged that she told Will. Maybe she didn't. Sometimes when a guy hits on a woman, we don't tell our guy, right? Before fear that there'll be some type of response. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also the person that did not blame her for Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I think we all have to have our own autonomy over who we are, and that he had to stand behind that decision. So, how she continues to take blame for that, we know it's easy to always just shift the blame on the woman did it, the woman did it, the woman did it, and sort of like forget that the actual slap happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Yeah, because I remember around that time too, a lot of people, and even like seeing the story unfold now, like a lot of people are attacking Jada, and I want to get into that. But before doing so, something that came up, and again that I'm seeing in the comments, is like they wish she would have said this around that time to give more context. Because like you said, people were, and some people were blaming Jada, but also some people were looking at Will like, yo, you done messed up your life, you've messed up your career. Do you think this information, she should have revealed this information a little bit earlier, around the time that, all these different headlines and people were speculating the why behind what happened?
Well, again, as Black people, we always, when one of us do something that's out of pocket, we always act like that's the end of the world and this and this and that. Robert Downey Jr. was on drugs for I don't know how long, running around here acting a mess, being foolish. Didn't stop him from turning in to being one of the top Marvel characters of all times, you understand, and rectifying who he was. So I don't think this has killed Will Smith's career. People are human. People have emotions, whether right or wrong. That's a human thing. Now, I think whatever had to be resolved should have been resolved between Chris and Will and Jada, right? Because Chris Rock's the one that got slapped. The only person that needs to be concerned about how they handle that is Chris Rock, because that's his face on the line, his integrity, all kinds of things. So they need to rectify that with him. But in terms of us sitting on the periphery, listen, I like to know what's happening too. We all want to know what's with the juice, especially when we like people. Oh, what's going on with them? We want something to talk about at the barbershop. We want something to talk, but they are not entitled to tell us what is going on in the behind the scenes. Yeah. I also think there's a sort of form of victim blaming in a sense, even though I hate to use that word because I think it's misused a lot. Is like, oh, we wish that Jada had said all this so that we could then have sympathy or empathy for her. It's like, why does she have to say all of her business in order to get empathy? Instead of, if you really have good faith in Jada, you're really a fan of hers, or you vibe with her spirit, some part of you should have said, I know there's probably something going on that I don't know about, but I'm going to pray for her and I'm going to pray for him. So, the thing of grace, I give both of them grace. I know what Will did was crazy, but also how many times we try to slap somebody, we want to slap somebody, we get into some, I can't act like I ain't never got in somebody's face and try to slap them. Who am I to act like I ain't never slapped nobody? But did it make me right? No, it did not. But it doesn't make me somebody that gets to judge him for doing it. But it also does make me a person to go, hey, I've been there. This is what I had to do when I was in that situation. I'm gonna pray for you. I hope you get the same kind of treatment or help.
Yeah, because and again, seeing these headlines and even seeing people comment on this, a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, hey, Jada, I don't think you're protecting Will," and also, even saying that, Jada's in a place where she just doesn't love Will, and Will is hanging on. And I actually want to play a clip and then come back and talk to you more. So let's take a look.
The prime example of what happened to that is what happens when you love a woman that don't love you and you still trying to validate.
You don't think she love him?
Fuck no.
How did you come to this conclusion? Okay, they had an entanglement. Yeah, she puts all of her business and everybody else's business on the red table. But I think she loves him.
If she loved him, she would have never let him run up there. If she loved him, she wouldn't have laughed after it happened. If she loved him, he did 30 years of being a clean-cut comic that never, ever succumbed to all the pressures of gangster rap and everything.
Now, Yamanika, I want to go straight into your reaction because I saw some of it as the clip was playing. What's your reaction to the clip?
It's so crazy to me. And this is the stuff that I be getting into on this channel with a lot of cats that don't understand it. We keep hearing about men saying that women are taking zero accountability, right? As we, as women, have to listen to every nigga that go to Radio Shack and get some podcast equipment decide that he got to have a podcast. I want them, they say make America great again. I'm gonna say make podcasting equipment expensive again. Because too many people, they going to Circuit City because Circuit City ain't got no more brick and mortar. They going on getting the discounts online. They getting microphone sets, and somebody is listening to these cats. Now, I like Earthquake as a comic. I think he's funny as hell. But to put your opinion, let people know that's your opinion. That's your opinion that she doesn't love him. And then we see that's your opinion because of the things you thought she was responsible for that nobody is putting on Will being responsible for. She don't love him because she didn't stop him. We all watched the thing. When did she? That's why I couldn't understand, like, the amount of responsibility that men, especially black men, put on black women is crazy. When did she have time to stop him? She was sitting there like the rest of us not knowing what the hell. I believe her when she said it was like, nobody knew what was happening. And that thing was lickety split.
Yeah.
Then he's saying to her, he's saying that Earthquake is saying that Jada has now said, well, you ain't doing nothing. That's you're making, nobody saw her say that. Nobody saw so we've now taken stuff that we think happened and we put it out like news. And then what I want to implore to the men, since they think I don't like them so much and I hate black men so much, is like, let's take a step, just one step. Why is it a woman's responsibility to go baby, 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 in order to hold back her man who is uncontrollable because he has rage or jealousy or anger because a man has said something to him, instead of a man saying, if I have confidence in the woman that I'm with, if I know who my lady is, why would I let a man disrupt my spirit about my relationship?
Yeah.
I think that is completely wrong to say that she doesn't love him. Of course, that's my opinion. Maybe she doesn't, but I think she does. Who sits in a relationship for 7 years holding on to the promise that we are never going to get divorced, and no matter what, we will work through it? So much so that we don't tell the world that we're separated. Obviously, I'm having my indiscretions, you're having yours because we're separated, but she's also getting blamed for having indiscretions. She's getting blamed for him attacking.
No, and I think there's balance in having us. Like you said, there's a difference in where we are, where we're, essentially paid to have these conversations. But, people that are just on the internet, just to be on the internet for the heck of it, there's a big difference between the two. And I absolutely appreciate you. And I love being able to have this dialogue. Now, I'm going to close this out on this one because we're going to go to a quick commercial break because I want to come back to you, Yamanika, on some things that you've been predicting. I hear you out here predicting things. But before doing so, closeout question, and this is just, again, coming from the comments that we're seeing. Yes or no, what are your thoughts? Do you think Jada was wrong for revealing these things in her book?
There's supposed to be a sanctity in marriage. I will say that.
Yeah.
And if she did not get permission from Will to do that, I think that airing out such laundry is probably problematic. But I don't know. If she didn't get permission to do that, I would say that probably wasn't the move, not in a marriage.
Yeah.
And that could lend to why some people think that she's the narcissist out of the relationship. I'm not going to say there's not things with her that don't seem like a little off. But she's also a Baltimore girl like I am, you know, so I know how we get down. We gonna write that book, nigga, and what you gonna do about it? Nothing.
Well, speaking of how you get down, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break because Yamanika, like I said, I want to come back. I heard you've been predicting things, so I want to come back and talk to you because there's some headlines that I want to touch on as well. We'll be right back right after this. Now, Yamanika, I want to bring you in on this conversation. DJ Envy actually recently responded to the allegations of real estate fraud. And I remember about 4 years ago, you were actually on The Breakfast Club, made a couple jokes. Now, I don't think it was anything like serious, but there was a little bit of prediction there. I want to get your thoughts on what we're seeing and kind of just your experience in, have that back and forth. And it wasn't real, like a bad back and forth, but just that conversation. What are your thoughts?
I know. Let me just say, first of all, I love The Breakfast Club. And I'm talking about the original Breakfast Club. I haven't been, that's not no shade to Jess, who's on there now. I just haven't had a chance to watch the new dynamic. But I want to give a shout out to Angela, who I love. Envy has always been nice to me. Shar, I love. So when I went into that exchange, it's just me popping off at the mouth, the things that people hate about me and also love about me. And it didn't mean anything. It wasn't like I was like, oh my God, I hate,
Hold on, Yamanika. Hold on. Before you continue, I want to play the clip really quick. I want to play the clip and then I want to come back and let you continue. Let's take a look.
First of all, let me just say this. Envy, I adore you. I want to get a house from you. Shit,
I don't sell houses.
But what is you flipping something? Ain't it houses? Or what the fuck you doing? Every time I see you doing something, you flipping a house in New Jersey or some shit like that.
No, I'm not a realtor. Houses. I buy
flipping...
houses, I fix them, and I rent them out. I'm not a realtor. I'm trying to encourage people to buy homes and to create generational wealth.
You should become a realtor.
Okay, but I'm trying to figure out because then you got the home and you try to make money off the home. And you making money off the home?
Yes, ma'am.
So you selling the homes?
I'm selling rooms or apartments. I'm keeping it.
SROs?
Yeah, I'm keeping it. So
you the slumlord? You got 4 families worth of niggas living under one roof? Oh my God. Did the government know?
I'm trying to encourage people to buy homes and to invest in themselves so they can always have property instead of continue to rent.
By investing in you and putting money in your pocket. Let's not act like you not making money. I'm just to the point I was making is you making money, right?
I'm doing it the right way without getting got.
But they got to get got by you before they don't get got.
Now, Yamanika, I had to play it because you are always you're so witty, you're fun, hilarious. Go ahead and continue. After seeing that one, what are your thoughts?
This is why I get in trouble, because I run my mouth unfiltered. And to be honest with you, I always like to, and I always get upset that people don't know this about me. I always like to give some type of love or compliment, no matter what, even if we beef, and I like to give something positive about you because that's just the way we should be. But I literally was trying to get off that keto shit and just get to Envy and be like, hey, can I get one of your homes? And then immediately there was a conversation. Charlamagne said he didn't understand it either. Everybody was like, it was almost like I had opened up a can of worms, right? And the thing about it is, as my mind moves as a comic, and it's the type of comic that I am, I feel bullshit. Whether you think I'm bullshit or not, or whether you think the things I'm calling bullshit are not bullshit and I'm over exaggerating, I call out feelings of bullshit somewhere. So it felt, I was like, oh, this is the real thing. And as we're getting into it, as I listen back, I'm like, Yam, what are you doing? This is so crazy. It's come on, why are you doing that? And then I go, but the me, Yamanika, in that moment is the investigator that's going to be like, so this and this and this and that. Now, let me be very honest. I don't believe that DJ Envy is out here scamming people. What I believe is we all get you know, especially as you rise, people want to start getting into business with you. That's why everybody got a perfume line. Everybody got a lipstick line. Everybody doing this. Some people are not really invested in a brand. That's why what Rihanna has done with Fenty is so amazing. Because some people just like, oh, you put the thing and put my name on it. She's like, no, I want to be in. I want to see what's being tested with it. So some people go, I'm going to let you use my name, my celebrity. I trust you. You go do what you got to do. As long as I ain't got to get involved and I just get a check every month or whatever, I ain't going to say nothing. That doesn't make you a bad person. That just makes you somebody that maybe put your trust in the wrong person. And now that's why he's in this situation. So I don't believe that DJ Envy is out here trying to scam people. I don't think he would. Why would he do that as high profile as he is? It was automatically come back to him. But do I believe the nigga next to him was scammed? Yeah, and could put it off on him? Absolutely. So I think they need to go back to Homeboy and ask him, how many times are you going to sell a home that you don't own to your people who are already disadvantaged?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. There's nothing in me that thinks that DJ Envy is guilty. And they even talked about on the Breakfast Club, you know, in the actual court documents, Caesar, I think the gentleman's name is, stated that DJ Envy, and you know, I forget DJ Envy's real name, but DJ Envy had nothing to do with anything on the back end. So, you know, court documents state that, you know, DJ Envy kept saying his attorneys are telling him not to go into detail. Charlamagne kept telling him, hey, then don't go into detail. But of course, DJ Envy wanted to get something out to the people. And I think that's, you know, we can appreciate that. We appreciate him for, you know, just kind of trying to clear it up. But it is important for him to stay protected as well.
I think that's a good thing to know, that sometimes it's the same thing when people go, why do you read the comments? Why do you respond to these people? Why do you, there is a part of someone, the humanitarian that wants to clear up something when you know something is going on that's been misunderstood or misspoken. So that even for me, it was like, I get it. That showed me more innocence than anything, because it's like everybody telling you to be quiet, and the law's not going to hold, maybe public opinion will hold it, but the law's not going to hold it against you for being quiet because it understands what you're under, right? But people will. But for you to still want to say, listen, I wouldn't do no shit like that to my people. He's built up a reputation, no matter what, to cheating and the wife and all this nonsense that don't nobody care about, because everybody out here getting their goodies got. Because I met this married man, and I was like, thankfully I go to the Bible. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if the Lord didn't tell me to leave you alone, you told me you were separated, right?
Stop it, Yamanika, stop it.
But I don't do it. I didn't do it.
I love you so much, Yamanika. Before you go for real, before I let you go. So you were here, we did the live show, the full episode. How has it been? What's been the reaction? What are your thoughts? And I hope to see you very soon again for another one.
First of all, I got to get my next status level up before December 31st on Delta. So you definitely going to see me again. I was so, I'm glad that we did it. I look for more. I love the vibe. What I loved is, we've been in a very weird situation because we have to get together on camera, but there's nothing like us vibing in person. Pierre being there for me to really kick his legs under the table, what I need to. But I love Pierre so much. I love you, late. I'm just so proud of everybody. Like I said, I'm proud of that show, and I'm glad that for all the people that say, where's the comedy? Where is the comedy? We gave you new people that you could be really focusing on, and really not new, just maybe new to you. We had some very funny comedians on there. Pierre gave you his time, like set. That's important. Because I didn't give you niggas my set like that because I'm trying to sell it. Okay. So like, when comics are giving up their material that once it's broken, it's hurt, thank God for that. I enjoyed myself that night. I'm so glad for all the comedians that came in and put themselves in a situation where they would get critique from us. That's, something they don't have to do. So, and I'm just so proud of John and all of the people behind the scenes. It was a beautiful night for me. I just cannot wait for us to do it again, to work out whatever kinks that we have to work out and get that thing on and popping. I am here, God willing, or unless some white person pick me up and make me a millionaire.
Yo, Monica, how can everybody keep up with all the wonderful things that you have going on?
Well, I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday soon, so I'm really excited about that. But you can catch me. I know I have some dates beforehand, but for some reason, the only date I can remember is that I'm doing Nate Jackson's Funny Comedy Club because the name is so spectacular. And I'm like, and this place is in Tacoma, Washington, with all this jazz. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be there November 10th through 12th. I already looked it up. I see Black people are there. So I want the white people to also come out, but they will because it's Tacoma. But I'm looking forward to doing a research because I'm going to tell you, Atlanta, y'all almost had me giving up on niggas. I'm just going to keep it real, a stack.
Real close.
And what's funny is I've told my booking agent before, I said, I don't want to do no hillbillies. Because people don't think I don't say that. I won't do any hillbillies because of the simple fact that a lot of times when you're around, especially poor white people, and you a person of color and you got anything that look like it's better than them, they gonna hate on you super hard. They don't like seeing niggas doing better than them. So I don't put myself in situations where I gotta deal with low rent, uneducated hillbillies. At the same time, I have to also add that addendum to niggas. And I know y'all hate when I say niggas, but I had, with the show y'all came to, the show, we had some beautiful Black people and we vibed in there. But I had one show with one nigga that made me wanted to give it all up because I cannot go back and forth with niggas like that. People have to understand when you ask, why are there so few Black comics that are really getting out here with material and going to the quote unquote urban scene? Is because why fucking hassle with your own people? We can go over to white people at the very least. I'm gonna deal with some racism with them, but they also gonna shut the fuck up. Think about it.
Well, I'm happy that Atlanta won you back over because
Y'all did, yo. We had the next night
was a ball. I heard all about it. I was a little jealous because I was a little jealous. I wasn't able to come to the second show or that next night.
But the one we had with you too was good.
It was good. I know. I heard. I heard. I was a little sad, but I heard great things about it, and I'm happy again that Atlanta's in your good graces, so we can get you back here. And again, thank you for joining us, Yamanika, on this topic. I'm so happy to have you.
I love you, Sanctity, so much. I'm so glad I got to see you. You guys support Sanctity in everything she do. She's a star.
I appreciate it. All glory to God. Now, but hey, we're going to close out. You heard from us. Now, we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Jada exposing that Chris asked her out on a date? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.